The Battle of Plassey was orchestrated by Robert Clive. The plunder of India by the East Indian Company continued for another 190 years. The changes introduced by the British in land tenures significantly altered the agrarian relations. Peasant revolts began to erupt in the early 19th century in India. Farasi movement was launched in the parts of eastern Bengal. After the death of Shariatullah, the rebellion was led by his son Dudumian. The Wahhabi rebellion originated in and around 1827. Often the term tribes is misused to refer to isolated groups. Coles organized an insurrection in 1831 to 32. The Munda rebellion prompted the British to formulate a policy on tribal land. In 1806, the sepoys at Vellore mutinied against the new dress code. On 11 May 1857, a band of sepoys from Meerut marched to the Red Fort in Delhi. Dalhousie was the Governor-General of Bengal who refused Rani of Jhansi's request to adopt a son. The Indigo Revolt began in 1859 in Bengal. The Indian National Congress was formed in the year 1885. In 1899, Lord Curzon was appointed as the new Viceroy of India. In South India, Tuticorin became the most important location of Swadeshi activity. In the Lucknow session of Indian National Congress, it was decided to admit the militant faction into the party. The Home Rule movement in India borrowed most of its principles from the Irish Home Rule movement. The Montagu-Chelmsford reforms announced in the year 1919. Nana Sahib was the adopted son of Baji Rao II. Titumir, along with his 50 soldiers, were killed in the struggle. Birsa Munda became a folk hero who is celebrated in many folk songs. The indigo industry quickly declined in Bengal. After Plassey, the British adopted a policy of territorial expansion. The Industrial Revolution in Britain rapidly mechanized the British textile industry. Many of the peasant revolts were led by religious leaders. Farasi movement was launched by Haji Sharidullah in 1818. Farasi movement was revived in 1870s by Noah Mian. The Wahhabi rebellion was led by Titumir. The first major attack of Wahhabi rebellion was launched in the town of Purnia. The coal uprising of 1831 to 32 was led by Bindrai and Singrai. The social banditry led by Bir Singh were directed against Mahajans and traders. The Act of 1855 formed the territory into a separate division called Santhal Pargana Division. One of the prominent rebellions that occurred in Ranchi was called Ulugulan Rebellion. The Munda people were familiar with the collective farming known as Kunt Kati. Bek Bihari meant forced labor. The sepoys feared that the dress code was a part of the British effort to convert soldiers to Christianity. Sepoys working in the British Army were in fact in peasants' uniform. The siege of Kanpur was an important episode in the rebellion of 1857. Nana Sahib had been denied pension by the company. Delhi was captured by the British troops in late 1857. Bahadur Shah was captured and transported to Burma. After the revolt of 1857, power was transferred from the East India Company to the British Crown. Natural indigo dye was highly valued by cloth makers around the world. The formation of the Indian National Congress was intended to establish an all India organization. The moderates were criticized by a group of leaders known as extremists. Despite widespread protest, partition of Bengal was announced on 19 July 1905. 16 October 1905 was declared as a day of mourning. Swadeshi Steam Company was launched by V.O. Chidambaranar. Swaraj means self-rule. Tilak set up the first Home Rule League in April 1916. Annie Besant decided to start the Home Rule League without the support of Congress. In 1919, the British enacted the Rowlatt Act, which provided for arbitrary arrest and strict punishment. The Battle of Plassey was followed by the Plunder Bengal. Indian sepoys were paid much less than their European counterpart. The first session of the Indian National Congress was held on 28 December 1885. Titu Mir immediately declared freedom from British rule. The Raja of Chota Nagpur has leased out to moneylenders the job of revenue collection. The Kol rebels took control of the king's palace. 2 Daragas were killed by the Santhal crowd. Ulugulan rebellion, great tumult, permanent settlement, Raj Mahal Hill, Kathleen Goff, anthropologist, Madras Mahajana Sabha, 1884, Birsa Munda, folk hero. Battle of Plassey, June 1757. Clive, Jagat Seths. Farasi movement, 1818. Dudumian, land belongs to God. Anti-landlord movement, 1827. Non-tribal people, land grabbers, tribes, Indian society, coal revolt, Chota Nagpur, Santals, Raj Mahal Hills, cooperative of Munda people, Kuntkati.